as I've evolved as a person and as a coach, what I've learned is my favorite thing about coaching is like the psychological and emotional side of coaching. It's helping women to kind of shift their mindset about what health looks like, especially mompreneurs and really any mom who's busy, which that's kind of, synonymous with being a mom.
Hey there, Mama. Welcome to the Marvelous Moms Club podcast. I'm Kirsten Tyrell, and I am the host of this awesome podcast where I get to sit down with moms from all over the world from various walks of life to share their stories of inspiration, knowledge, and all kinds of good stuff to remind you what a truly marvelous mom you are. So sit back and relax, or plug your headphones in and keep doing whatever you're doing, and enjoy today's episode of the Marvelous Moms Club. Hey, Marvelous Moms, welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm chatting today with somebody who I met in a very different capacity from doing a podcast interview a couple of months ago. I don't know, was it about 2 months ago, probably?
Yeah.
This is Shelly Robinson. She is a health coach on top of other things. She's a mom, and she has a really interesting story, which I want to share with you guys. And also, I personally benefited from some of her coaching. I think she's amazing, and she's the reason that right now I am on medication for my thyroid, and I no longer feel like I want to die in the middle of the day. I mean, it took a good 5 weeks, and that medication all of a sudden just kicked in, and I'm like, oh, I remember this feeling.
Awesome.
This is pre-babies. I have so much energy. Sometimes I don't know what to do with it, and it's a little weird because I'm not used to having that.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. So welcome to the podcast. That was a really long introduction, but thanks for being here,
I love
Shelly.
it. You are so welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's going to be fun to hear, what you have to share with everybody and give everybody a little piece of what you can do when it comes to like the health coaching, because I know you're launching into a group coaching program in January, so this will probably air a little bit before that.
Okay.
So that people can know about it. But tell everybody first your background as a mommy and how many kids you have and what that kind of looks like.
Sure. I have two awesome kiddos. I have a 6-year-old little boy named Chase and his little sister who is 15 months, and her name is Gracie. Interestingly, Chase named her. He wanted it to rhyme with his name, and I was really tired one day, and he said, "How about Grace?" And I was like, "Good enough. I love it." So, but I do love that name. I've always loved that name. So, they are pretty far apart in age. She's 15 months, so it's a fun and interesting age gap, but it ended up working out quite well because I love that he can help change diapers and take care of her while I'm cooking, so It ends up working out pretty well. I love it.
That's awesome. So that kind of goes hand in hand with the way you started your business or why you got into a healthy lifestyle, because you had infertility issues for a while back then, right?
I did. Yes. So I got pregnant with my son like 5 minutes after we got married. It was just really easy, and it didn't, it never occurred to me that I would ever struggle with that. So we got pregnant with him easily, and we started trying again for a second one about a year and a half later. And again, I just kind of assumed that it would go easily, and it didn't. And it was, like many of your listeners, it was who have been through this. It's heartbreaking, and it's something you would never wish upon another mom or another woman. And it was just, it was a little bit surprising because it's called secondary infertility when you can't conceive a second child very easily. And so that challenge and that struggle in my life is what led me into health coaching. I was just so passionate about kind of uncovering what was going on in my body that was preventing me from getting pregnant that I just dove headfirst into learning about everything that I could. And so I spent several years doing that and healing a lot of my physical issues, but more than anything, I ended up healing a lot of mental issues and heart issues, and managing my stress a lot better, because I think that was playing a lot into my own personal infertility issues. So it just opened me up to an entire world I would have never otherwise known about. And so that's why I'm here today. And, it brought me into this role as a woman and a mom and a coach, and I could not be any more grateful. So it's just amazing how God does that,
Yep. He gives you a little struggle so that you can learn way more than you ever bargained for, right?
Right. I did not sign up for that, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
It's not a fun thing. Nobody stands in that line in heaven like, please give me this issue.
Exactly. Right.
I guess we don't really necessarily love any of our struggles, no matter what they may be, but there is always that moment when you look back and you're like, oh, okay. If I had to do it again, maybe not quite so much would I love to do it again, but at least it brought me here. And if I'm going to struggle with something, I guess it wasn't so bad.
Yes, exactly.
So you kind of cleaned your soul, cleaned your body, and really got yourself to a point. So when you did finally conceive your daughter, was it like naturally? Did you have to use any fertility treatments or anything?
You know what? It was not naturally. And that's another twist to my story that I went into this convicted that I was going to do this naturally. That was my intent, and I wanted it to be natural. And I spent probably 3 years trying that way. Mm-hmm. And, finally we said, you know what, let's try medicine. And so it was such a mindset shift for me, because at the time I was so committed to like doing it without medicine. And then, like you with your thyroid medicine, you discover that sometimes medicine is necessary and helpful, and that it's here for a reason. And so you just have to be thoughtful and intentional about how you incorporate that into your life. Mm-hmm. And so ultimately that's what ended up working for us. However, I do think, it was a really amazing combination of cleaning up my body to prepare it for pregnancy. So it's one of those things I'll never know. I'll never know exactly how it all played out. Only God knows that. But I think that I had taken care of my health enough so that when I got pregnant, I was able to carry her to term. And, I'd had a miscarriage in the past, so I felt like my body was in a much better shape to have a healthy pregnancy. So thank you for asking that, because I think I would never want there to be a stigma attached to using medicine. And, everyone's got a different path. And so that's how ours unfolded, and she's healthy and happy, and it all worked out.
I love that. It's so exciting. Yeah. So fun. So even though there's an age gap, like you said, it worked out just great. And I'm sure it's so fun to have a helper and somebody who just is so excited to have a sibling instead of, there's advantages no matter how you grow your family. I did mine really close together because I had been spaced apart from my siblings. And so for that reason, like they were close together, they didn't really understand when they had a new sibling. And it's just kind of like, okay, there's somebody else here, whatever. But I bet it's fun to have like the older kids. I mean, even when my oldest was a little older, by the time I had my third, it's just more fun. They just recognize that it's special and it's exciting. Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's super fun. Yeah, it was a big event for him. This wasn't just like a little, munchkin showing up in the door. This was a big deal for him. He was like, whoa, there is a baby in the house. So it was fun. It was fun to watch him.
Cool. So how did you launch that from personal experience into a business? I mean, when did that shift happen? Because I know you and I, let me just give everybody backstory. Shelly and I met because we're both mompreneurs. We met on a mompreneur Facebook group, and I benefited from one of your health coaching calls, which was literally at a time when I was like on the floor, just kind of like, I'm so busy. I'm so tired. I know I need to do something, but I absolutely just can't. Like I don't have any motivation to do it, even though I know it'll make me feel better and it will take me out of this space. Right. And so chatting with you, like really that was the pivotal moment, even though I'd been told by people, check your hormones, get this done, when it was just kind of like, here's your easy little steps, start here. This is what's going to be conquerable. Because there's nothing worse than feeling like the advice that's all out there doesn't really apply to you. So not only, I mean, getting my thyroid checked, that was important and that obvious, but like even the way that I needed to exercise was a little bit more custom instead of, when people would say, like, you listened to me. So it wasn't just, oh, well, you need to get more cardio, or you need to get this much exercise every day, or you should try this. It was like, well, I've tried that and that doesn't work. It doesn't make me feel good. And you gave me stuff that actually makes so much more sense. So I love the customization. I love the coaching aspect of what you do, because it is so important to personalize treatment, just like for anything, to somebody's personal health. So with that being said, knowing that she's amazing, you guys, tell me.
Thank you.
Tell me how you started into it as a business.
Okay. So, well, when I started digging into the health side of my infertility issues, like I said, it kind of opened up this new world to me that I had never heard of or looked into. And so at the time I was in a job that I did not care about. I didn't mind it, but I just wasn't passionate about it. And I am a super passionate person. So it was kind of sucking the life out of me to be in a job that was just kind of ho-hum for me. Yeah. And so I'd heard of people that loved their work. And I was like, how do you do this? Like, where do you find this work that you love? Yeah. So once I kind of got really passionate about the nutrition side of things and health and all of that, I was like, this is it. This is exactly what I have to do. And so I went back to school. I got certified as a health coach. And then you do learn in that program that I went to, how to turn that into a business. So I started out very slowly. I had quit my full-time job to do this. I had a 12-year career in marketing, and I said,
Wow.
I'm done. We sold the house that we had just built, downsized, and it was like a big deal. This wasn't something I did lately. Like, it was a huge pivotal moment in my life. And I said, I'm doing this. I want to do something that I love. Like, life is too short not to do this. And so I started out very slowly because this was all brand new to me. I'd never owned my own business. And so I just, I had to immerse myself not only in the health world, but in the, like you've had to do, like in the business world, and how to run a business and how to manage that in your life. And so, like I do with health and coaching, I took very small baby steps. This was about 5 years ago, and I just built it a little bit at a time and had lots of lessons learned. I've reached out to several mentors. I've had my own coaches in business and in health. And so lots of learning and building my one-on-one practice just a little bit each day until it became exactly what I wanted. And, it's always evolving and it's always changing. So that was my story. And it's taken a long time. And there's been a lot of ups and downs in that. And that's how business goes. But I love it. But I think when your heart's in it and that's something you're passionate about, you kind of get through that muddy, those icky times and make it through.
Yeah, you totally do. I didn't know that part about your story, that you guys like sold your house and downsized and made the sacrifices. That is that's a huge jump into entrepreneurial life, really. It's a big sacrifice. It's a big moment where it's really make or break, and you're like, this is how much this means to me. Hello, universe. Right. This is what I'm willing to do. So
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, it was huge. It was a tricky part of our journey, but and I think it's such a cool thing to be able to model for your children too. When you say that you want to do something and you just show up and you do it, like, that's what I love about being a mompreneur, is modeling that for your kiddos. So
yeah, that is so true. That's probably one of the most important aspects of being a mompreneur. It really is. Like, you're not only nurturing yourself and you're doing something to better yourself and to share something that you're good at or share something that you can help others with, but it's really showing your kids that progression doesn't stop when you become a parent.
Right.
And I think that's really something that's shifted in our culture. All the way back to Leave It to Beaver days, where, you're a mother and that is your job. Yeah, I still think being a mother is your job. I think it's the most important job, but I also don't feel like we're in a place anymore where we feel like that's the only job, or that's our identity. I mean, it's an amazing identity, but there's so much behind it. What makes a good mom? Right. Let's go off on a tangent here.
No, I love it.
What kind of mother would you be if you didn't have the skills you have? Whether those are cooking skills or organizational skills or personal skills. Like, my mom is an example to me because she knows how to talk to everybody. She's a social butterfly. And if not for that, how could I be sitting here having any social skills with other people?
Right.
So it's really true. Like, those attributes you need as a mother are just... they have to come from somewhere else. We don't just jump into motherhood and be like, I'm amazing at everything because all I want to do is be a mom,
Exactly. So, yeah. I think showing your kids, like, doing well what you're passionate about is, that's how you don't sit down and teach them. And you can, but just doing it in action is what it's all about.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Example. That's so, so true. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell everybody kind of like what you love most about the coaching aspect. What's your favorite thing to help people get over, or the favorite obstacle to climb with your clients?
I would love to share that. So I'll tell you, when I started into this 5 years ago, my focus was really on food and, like, let's get lots of kale smoothies in and make sure you eat your salads. I mean, honestly, like that, I know, right? Side note, like, I hate kale. So you don't have to like kale to be healthy, but as I've evolved as a person and as a coach, what I've learned is my favorite thing about coaching is, like, the psychological and emotional side of coaching. It's helping women to kind of shift their mindset about what health looks like, especially mompreneurs, and really any mom who's busy, which that's kind of, synonymous with being a mom, but changing your mind about health and what you're capable of. And so a lot of times we as people just run on autopilot. And so we assume that we need willpower, or that we have to follow a lot of rules, or that we have to stay within a certain calorie limit to be healthy. And that's not true. And so we have to I love uncovering the truth for women so that they can see what health is really all about and that it's meant to be enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you come at health from that sort of perspective, instead of it's going to be punishment and restriction and misery, like it opens up a whole new world for you. So my favorite part of coaching is to see that transformation take place with people inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so when you've got that, the outside just naturally kind of takes care of itself. You automatically make better choices. And so, I mean, that just lights me up to see people starting to change their mind about, how they see health and how they view themselves, like that they're beautiful and perfect just the way they are, and that they're totally capable of living a healthy life that they love.
I love that so much. That's so true. I mean, isn't that the case with any change, any transformation? It has to start from the inside.
Right. That's your foundation. Because if you're trying to make changes on top of lies that you believe, you're building that on a really shaky foundation. So we start with the truth, and and that's uncovering kind of a lot of the things we've accumulated as people over time, just kind of with the messages we're bombarded with by society and marketing, and that it's your fault that you can't lose weight or X, Y, or Z. So I love helping women to kind of see that that's not true, and you can totally do this.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
So tell everybody about your 12-week group coaching program that's launching in January and what that's going to look like.
I would love to. So I will tell you, since you and I spoke, that program, I've decided to make it a little bit of a shorter one. It's called Healthy Mama Huddle. And I love that because I just love the idea of, getting together in a small group and huddling up and, using that energy. But it's going to be actually a 6-week program.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people, 3 months can sometimes feel like a long time. And so 6 weeks, like I love, it's more like a boot camp. Like we're going to get a lot done in a short amount of time, and it is going to be fun. And this will be my first group coaching program that I've launched since coaching. I've always done one-on-one, but I get so much joy and energy from women coming together. And I think other women benefit from that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a really fun, brief, intensive camp that we're going to get together once a week. We'd connect for an hour and really get to the nitty gritty of what's holding each of us back. So it's going to be a combination of group coaching and then individual coaching in between sessions. And the 3 pillars that I would focus on, like I kind of talked about briefly, are mindset. We have to start there, and then nutrition. And then one of my favorite parts of health coaching, which doesn't seem like something a health coach would get into, is time management. Because that's another thing that if we're not doing that well, it makes the nutrition and the meal prepping and the exercise really hard to fit in. So we're building a really awesome infrastructure in our head and our hearts and in our time management so that we can kick butt in the nutrition and exercise component of it. So those are the things that we would focus on. And I am super excited because I just, I think it's going to be so much fun to get women together to do this and to help each other, cheer each other on, and hold each other accountable. So I can't wait.
That's awesome. And I'm glad you've shortened it because I do think we're all looking for efficiency, right? Like we're not looking for an overnight success, but we're looking for something we can feel like we can accomplish.
Yeah, exactly. And I did some soul searching on that, and I said, would I sign up for that? You have to be able to offer something that I'm like 6 weeks to me feels doable. So if I can do that, I feel like I can offer that to other women. And so, yeah, I think it'll be a really fun way to kick off the new year.
Cool. Well, yeah, it's the best time to do it. So that's awesome.
Right.
It's coming together right now. So, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of that community effort and that progress in your Facebook group. So tell everybody about the Facebook group that you've created and kind of what goes on in there and how you're helping women over there.
Sure. So I have a Facebook group called Healthy Mama Hustle, which is kind of hard to say, it's a little bit of a tongue twister.
Say that 5 times fast.
I'm glad I got that out. And that is a really amazing community of women that I started actually not too long ago. And it focuses on really everything I'm talking about right now. So it's not just a big recipe site. It's really, we get into the nitty gritty of what it takes to make change in your life. So each week I focus on a really specific topic that we're going to cover so that people know what to expect. And so we cover all sorts of things. Like this week, for instance, we're talking about time management, which I just kind of touched on, that'll be in my program. Last week we focused on courage. The week before we focused on exercise and movement. And so it's a different topic each week that I really facilitate, and I provide a lot of free coaching inside of that group. And the women in there are incredible. So it's the little tagline is called, helping moms look and feel good while chasing their dreams. So it does have quite a few mompreneurs in there, but really it's a mix of all sorts of moms because we're all juggling a lot of things. And whether you're working or staying at home full time, you are essentially running a business of some sort,
For sure.
So yeah, it really kind of accommodates moms in any stage of life, but it's a really awesome group of ladies. I can't believe how many amazing women are already in there. So I would love to have your listeners pop on over if they think they'd enjoy that.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure they will. Everybody has a need for that. Everybody wants to believe they don't have time to be healthy, but it's a priority thing, right? Like we all need to, or it creates more sick days. Just like last week, 2 weeks out of this month in October, now we're in November, but in October, I was sick, and I can't be sick when I run businesses. And so really preparing yourself, and obviously even when you're healthy, you're still going to get sick sometimes, but your chances go way down, and at least your recovery time is a little bit quicker. So I totally believe in taking the time to be healthy, and I hope everybody does pop over there and join in on all the fun, because it does sound fun. It doesn't sound stressful or scary or overwhelming. It sounds very doable, and just knowing what I know about you, I know that you do give actionable steps that are not impossible. So
thank you. Yeah, it's all about those baby steps.
It's true. Yeah, lots of baby steps.
Lots of baby steps. Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because it's about kind of connecting those dots between your health and your business. Like so many of the approaches and philosophies that I take with health apply directly to business. So I love seeing people see that ripple across their life. So you're going to take baby steps in your health and you're going to take baby steps in your business. So once you kind of get anchored in one of those, it kind of shows up really well in your life in other areas.
Yeah, that's so exciting. I love it. I love you for sharing this with everybody. I hope everybody joins in the 6-week challenge and joins in the Facebook group, even if you're not ready for the 6-week challenge. Baby steps into that, right? I'm sure you'll do it again.
Right. Absolutely.
But jump in there while you guys can and take your health a little bit more seriously. Take care of yourself so that you have more to offer those babies and that family and that business, and nurture yourself so you can nurture it. So I love that. I love that so much. And I'm grateful to you for being here, Shelly.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome. Thank you.
Good. And to the rest of you guys listening, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next episode. You guys hear me talk on every single episode about reading and how important it is to read, and how most of my successful mompreneurs read several books at a time. If you guys feel like you don't have time to read, but you still yearn for knowledge, go check out Audible. You can actually go to the Marvelous Moms Club website, marvelousmomsclub.com, head over to resources, and get Audible free for 30 days. I love this amazing program, and if you're not already on there, it's perfect for getting lots of great information and even maybe some fun reads in the middle of the good information that you're soaking in. So go check it out right now and get your first month for free. Have a great day.